Should the Sabres switch to red and black full time? Well, one of their best players seems to think so, and I know you might be surprised. I'm not on board. I'll explain why. Coming up here in the Locked On Sabres podcast.
Your Locked On Sabres, your daily podcast on the Buffalo Sabres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thanks for making Locked On Sabres your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. Sneaky Joe DiBiase coming to you today here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We are going to take a pause or a timeout on our preview series of the Atlantic Division, looking back on some memories with each team and looking ahead to next season, comparing the two. We talked about Ottawa on our last show. We've talked about Boston, Toronto, Tampa, and Florida. If you missed any of those shows, you can check that out in the podcast feed that you're listening to right now. Or you could also check us out on YouTube, where you could always watch the show. And if you want to be a part of our Locked On Sabres text line, you could do that by going to joinsubtext.com/LockedOnSabres, where I've got some takes on today's subject. We are going to talk about uniforms today, a little bit about the jerseys, because Tage Thompson went on a podcast and he said something about the black and red uniforms that even I don't necessarily agree with, but I do want to get into it coming up today on today's show. Some news items to get to, though, before we get into the jerseys. We are, how many days away are we actually? I should do this before we get rolling here. How many days away from the preseason are we? The first will be home against the Pittsburgh Penguins on September 21st. All right, we are 23 days away from the preseason. Remember, preseason's a little weird this year. The Sabres are going to play a preseason game overseas against Red Bull Munich on, I believe that game is September 27th. Then they have a road preseason game the next night in Columbus. And then the following Monday, the 30th, they have a preseason game in Detroit before playing against the Devils in their two regular season openers in Prague. And I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, if you haven't heard me talk about this already, which is, wait, they're going to play in Germany and then fly out the next day to play in Columbus and then at home and then return back to Buffalo? That is not what's happening. That is not what's happening. There are going to be a couple of preseason games that we really don't pay a lot of attention to as Sabre fans that are going to get some very low attendance. That is going to be after that Germany game because, of course, Sabres are going to send their big guns. They're going to send their real team, all their star players overseas to Europe, and all their regular players. Anyone that could play in the NHL for the start of the regular season is going to be there in Germany when they play Red Bull Munich. And then that game against Columbus the next night and that game at home against Detroit on that Monday is going to be the Amherst. It's going to just be the Amherst, and not even the good Amherst, not even guys that you might think are immediate calls, because I think they're going to take a lot of guys to Europe just to make sure in case of injury. So we'll get 3 real preseason games. Pittsburgh on the 21st of September, Columbus on the 23rd of September. Both of those games are at home, and then at Pittsburgh on the 24th. I wouldn't expect to see any real Sabre players in any other preseason game except that Munich one. The one in Germany. But the night before Munich, they play Ottawa. That's not happening with NHL guys. They're not going to play against Columbus. They're not going to play against Detroit. So that's a little bit of a preview of what we're going to see in the preseason, which is still a little bit of ways away. The other news item to get to today is we got our national TV schedule for the Buffalo Sabres. And the Sabres are going to have 9 national TV games. Although I don't know whether to call them national TV because they're national stream also, or some of them are only on stream. October 16th at Pittsburgh. That is going to be a TNT game, True TV, and Max. That's what a lot of these NHL games this year are. They're in 3 different places. So you've got 4 TNT games throughout the season. You've got 2 games on ESPN or ESPN2, so TV, and then you have 3 ESPN Plus only games. Those ESPN Plus only games, if you want to do your planning way ahead and think, oh, well, I need the streaming platform for just those games, or I need to go out for those games because I'm not a streamer, I'm not a cord cutter, and I don't get the game otherwise. My dad is someone like that. He just has cable. So whenever they're on ESPN Plus, he has a tougher time watching it. Those 3 games, November 14th, home against St. Louis. December 20th, home against Toronto. That stings a little bit, I think, that Toronto was one of those stream-only games. And then home against Edmonton on March 10th. Those are the stream-only games for the Sabres this year. The other news item that is more non-news, just want to point out every once in a while here that it's August 29th. We still don't have a Peyton Krebs contract. And we don't even have a peep about a Peyton Krebs contract. It's not the biggest deal in the world. He is somebody that is on the bottom end of the depth chart. He's somebody that I don't even know if he's on the opening night roster. I don't know that he plays opening night because he might be outranked now in the bottom 6 by guys that the Sabres signed this offseason, like Beck Malenstein and Ryan McLeod, of course. On the third line, he's outranked probably by Nicholas Aube-Kubel and Sam Lafferty, too. Maybe he unseats one of those guys to play opening night, so it's not like it's the biggest deal in the world, but just a little interesting. Maybe there is still a trade to come. What could be happening there? Because nothing. And training camp gets rolling in like 2 weeks, and we still don't have anything on Peyton Krebs. So we'll see. He's a restricted free agent. Are we gonna have like the lamest holdout situation of all time? That's possible, right? It's possible he just says, "Oh, well, if I'm not signed by the time camp starts, I'm just not showing up to camp." I don't know what kind of leverage he thinks he has. I don't know what kind of leverage the Sabres think they have. It's a weird situation given the status of the player to think he's not going to get something done. But maybe, again, there's a deal to happen. Maybe there's an offer sheet to happen with Peyton Krebs. Although I think the deadline maybe is the deadline passed for that? Maybe there is no deadline for that. Offer sheet maybe I think could still happen for Peyton Krebs. All right, quick time out here. And then when we come back, the uniforms. What did Tage Thompson say? What did the Sabres COO Pete Gwelly say about this as well? 2 very interesting people in the organization saying things about black and red as the Sabres uniform and maybe the primary uniform. That's coming up here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We are presented here on the show by Gametime. Gametime has a new feature. It's called Gametime Picks. Makes getting tickets for your favorite live event even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff, shows you only the great deals, only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. If you do want to search through different options with tickets, of course, check it out in the Gametime app. It's the easiest app to look through your different options. Of course, you have the seat views, get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, even when you're scrolling through it. You can see that Gametime ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. They don't want you to have any problems. They want to make it as easy as possible for you, just in a couple of clicks, to look at what you want, pick what you want, get the tickets, and not have any hassle. Just scan it when you get to the arena, and that's it. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. Back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Be sure to make your next listen Locked On NHL or Locked On Bills with our buddy Joe Marino as the Bills get ready for the Arizona Cardinals next week in the season opener. All right, let's get to what we had in terms of news for the jerseys in the last 24 hours for the Buffalo Sabres. And for this, we've got a quote from Tage Thompson. Tage Thompson went on the Morning Cup of Hockey show And he was asked about the black and red uniforms, about the Sabres record specifically in the black and red uniforms, which is tremendous. It is far better than their record is in blue and gold. And Tage got asked about it, and he said, quote, "We should go to those jerseys permanently." That's what Thompson had to say about it. And by the way, Rasmus Dahlin has said basically the same thing in the past. So you've got maybe the two Buffalo Sabre players that are telling you, hey, we'd prefer to wear the red and black. So I know what you're thinking. I was the guy leading the campaign for years, yelling about it, probably to an annoying level for years. Give us the black and red. Come on, represent the fan of my generation that grew up with the Sabres wearing red and black. The Sabres of my childhood that I grew to love as a kid wore those jerseys. They wore the black and red jerseys. And I'm not trying to tell you, I even said this, that I'm trying to replace the Sabres identity, the Sabres color scheme on a full-time basis, what they were in their original state by introducing black and red. But I just want it represented. It's a huge chunk of their history. Two of their greatest seasons, arguably, well, you want to give respect to 75, but two of their best 3 seasons ever were wearing black and red. The 99 run to the finals and the 05-06 season. So represent it. It means a lot to fans of my age, and they look awesome. They look awesome. The color scheme is great. Tage said this on that podcast. They just look sharp. That black color, they just look sharp. He even said he didn't like the white goat head jerseys that they wore a couple years ago with the white pants and the white helmet. It was all white. He said too much, too flashy, even a little bit, if you will. I agree with him. I hated those jerseys. If you're ever going to do a variation of their current uniforms again, if they're ever going to switch up an alternate, try your current logo, the current home jersey in black and red. That's never been tried, because otherwise everything else they've kind of done. That would be cool to try. Otherwise, I don't need them to change anything. I think they have the perfect uniform setup with the blue and gold original jerseys, a little variation on them. The whites are the best jerseys maybe in the league, and the black and reds, I think, are some of the best jerseys in the league too. The only thing I changed is wearing white at home, and that's more of an NHL problem than is a Sabre problem. Pete Gwelly, the COO of the Buffalo Sabres, he got involved on Twitter. And I was not expecting someone from the Sabres to get involved, but he did. He commented on the Tage comment and said, "Black and red schedule coming next week. I think you're going to like it, Tage. Hashtag let's go Buffalo." What he's probably implying there is they're going to wear black and red a lot this year. And they have worn black and red a lot in the past couple of years. For 41 home games, I mean, was it 18 games last year? It was not half, but it was not much less than half that the Sabres wore the goat heads in the past. And then Pete Gwelly put a poll up. And the poll is, you're playing with fire a little bit here. He asked, all right, Saberhood, which is the best? For the record, Tage started this, not me. Hashtag research. What's the best? Blue and gold, black and red. And remember, Twitter probably leans younger, I would think. The average demo for the black and for Twitter, Sabres Twitter, is probably lower than the average Sabre fan. So keep that in mind. 52.2% said they like black and red better than blue and gold. It's kind of the point, though, isn't it? I don't care the black and red won the poll. Again, it leans young. I don't want to think it matters anyway. Everyone should be represented here. Everyone should. You have your fans that grew up with Perreault, Martin, Robert, grew up with Danny Gare, grew up with Jim Schoenfeld, grew up with Roger Crozier, grew up with Jerry Korab, that used to hate the Philadelphia Flyers, and Dave Schultz and all those guys, and Brad Park back in the 70s and the 80s. Wow, back-to-back shows with a Brad Park reference, or maybe 2 of the last 3. That's incredible for our older listeners out there. We got fans like that. You've got fans also that maybe were too young for black and red. That fan probably is miserable because they've really never seen the playoffs before, but post Briere and Drury. How old's that fan? How old is a fan that was born in 2001? 2001, you were 7 when the Sabres were great with Briere and Drury with the Slugs. And then you were, 10 when Ryan Miller was amazing for them, and you were 11 and 12 when Vanek and Pominville were great for them. That fan knows them as blue and gold. You've got the middle, you've got me, you've got the mid 20s to early 30s range of fans that knew black and red, and then you have some fans that just love black and red in general. The Sabre players right now fit in that demo. That's another reason here. Tage is of the age, and Dahlin is of the age. When they grew up watching hockey, the Sabres wore the goat head. So that's another reason why they probably like it. You can't make it full-time. You can't make it their full-time uniform. I just don't see how you swing that, because to me, if you make black and red the full-time uniform, it sounds to me like you're getting rid of blue and gold. You're getting rid of their current uniform. I guess in theory, you could make black and red the home and away, and then the third jersey be like the white, blue, and gold. I would love that. That'd be cool. I just don't think that's realistic. I think, the way NHL jersey stuff works, it's so structured and strict that, I don't know that you're going to get that through, that you're going to pass that, or you're going to fit deadlines in, you're going to pull that off. I think it's fine the way it is right now. The only thing I wonder is to make sure black and red is here forever, because I don't want to see the black and red jersey go anywhere, ever. Does any other team in the league have a permanent third jersey? Maybe there is one. I don't know. Maybe there is. I just can't think of one off the top of my head. Third jerseys in the NHL that are full-time. If you look at the current ones, like Dallas with those neon jerseys, no. Philly's got them. Washington's got them. None of these guys. Edmonton with the dark blue with the orange. Winnipeg, maybe? Because Winnipeg's kind of got a throwback third jersey, too, where it's the all royal blue. It's the old school Jets logo. Maybe that one is permanent, but nothing else that comes to mind, I'm looking through the list right now, is permanent. Do the Canucks have the skate blade, black, orange, and black, red, and yellow? Is that permanent? Sabres just make black and red a permanent third jersey. You wear it 15 to 20 times a year. You wear your blue jerseys at home 20 to 25 times a year at home, and you wear your white jersey 41 times a year. That's the right setup. For the way the rules are right now, I think that is the right setup. And I don't need to force black and red, because I don't want... My problem with not having black and red in the first place was I felt like my generation of the Buffalo Sabres was not being represented, was being ignored. And I feel like if you go to black and red full time, you're going to be doing the exact same thing to all the fans out there that grew up and loved the Sabres wearing blue and gold when they were kids. And I don't want to do that to that fan. So to me, leave it the way it is. Although I appreciate Tage loving the black and red. I love the black and red too. Their record is better in black and red. They're definitely the sharpest. And again, third jerseys in the future, we're not going to get anything this year. Different third jerseys, like a different alternate, in addition to the black and red. They could just do a white goat head, right? At some point. Maybe they could have 4 jerseys. Why not do that? Why can't that be possible? 2 homes, 2 aways. What's the problem? Really, what is the problem with that? What is the deal? We're so strict with this jersey stuff. Have fun with it. If your fans would love it that way, where you just split it 50-50. 20, we'll even make it 1 extra blue and gold game, because that's what, Ty goes to the guy who was here first, which is blue and gold here. You wear 21 times the blue home, 20 times the black home. You wear 21 times the white, blue, and gold on the road, and you wear 20 times the white, black, and red on the road. What's wrong with that? Split it right down the middle. Everybody's happy. Everybody gets to see their jerseys. Everybody, and the Sabres would sell a ton of them. It would sell, the sales would be through the roof. If they want to do something new, I mentioned that, the buffalo with the crossing swords, the normal logo, the original logo, but in black and red. That's an idea. You could come up with something brand new, but that didn't go so well the last time they tried that. You also could try to bring back the 40th anniversary jerseys, the Buffalo Bisons themed uniforms. So you could take from the past, but I just don't need to get too creative with it. I think they have the best jersey trio in the league today, and I don't think you need to mess with it that much. Let me know what you think. Join subtext.com/LockedOnSabres if you are not already a subscriber. Here's one text in from a listener. People made such a big deal about bringing blue and gold back, royal blue, I think he means especially. It would be weird to go right back to full-time black and red. That's another thing. Fans yelled for 10 years, and I was one of them, about, hey, give us royal blue instead of navy blue. They finally gave us royal blue. So to go back, get rid of it, seems kind of strange. This from a texter. Are we sure Tage Thompson has won enough to be demanding what jersey they wear? I don't hate that take. I'm not going to make it myself, but the idea of, hey, Tage, Darlene, if you guys want to decide the jerseys, go make the playoffs first before you start telling me what you should be wearing on a full-time basis. What else? This one in defense of the black and red. It would feel like a fresh start for the franchise, but only if the fresh start is the 2022-23 Goat Heads, not the 23-24 Goat Heads. I didn't think I knew there was a difference between the two. I'll have to look into that because I didn't realize there would have been a difference. One more. I do love the black and red. I think it's something. I do love the black and red. I think it does something mentally for them when they play in them. You could do you gotta tell the NHL what you're wearing beforehand, right? Because I can't tell the NHL, like, hey, we're just gonna work. If we won the last game in that uniform, it's like a lineup. If you keep winning, don't change the lineup. Here you go, same thing. If you keep winning, don't change the uniform. If you've won 5 in a row and you kept wearing black and red, keep going. You keep wearing the same jersey till you lose. But again, this league is so stupid. They would never let you do something like that. It's that fun. All right, that's going to do it for us. Let us know your takes if you want. Join subtext.com/LockedOnSabres. We will talk about the Detroit Red Wings on our next show and looking ahead to their season. And are the Sabres still above Detroit? Are they above Detroit? Because last year, of course, they were not for almost the entirety of the year. That's going to do it for us today here in the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Bills. Get your Bills fix as well. Locked On NHL for your national hockey perspective also. That'll do it for us here in the Locked On Sabres podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.